Hello, my name is Kristani Shen, and in today's video I'll be discussing with you various topics, but mainly a topic about the one. And I will be giving you views on Christian the one, about how Christians feel about the one, and how this is a great way to avoid certain bad situations in your life. So basically, this is the concept of finding the one for you, like in a relationship. This is going to be the main topic for the video, and if I see there's any more things I would like to segue into, we'll see where it goes on from there. So I just basically want you guys to relax, get comfortable, and feel at ease. Just relax. Okay, it's Friday morning right now. I know some of you, it's your last day of work. Some of you are off. I'm off today, so I'm pretty relaxed and chill today. So let's start. So the concept of the one. The concept of the one. So, okay, so basically, Christians believe that there is such a thing as the one. In Christianity, there is something, the concept of the one is very true. But just like anything in Christianity, everything has to do with choice. You can't force somebody to go against their will. So just because somebody may be the one they're ordained to be your spouse or something, or like your mate, or like a boyfriend for you, or like your partner, and then eventually like somebody you marry, if their heart hasn't changed towards you, then you can't really force the situation. However, like anything in Christianity, if the person is the one, you will see that there will be eventually in time that their heart, God will change their heart so that it turn towards you. They'll remember you. They'll begin to have affections towards you. God will put that on their hearts. So remember in Exodus when Moses was trying to free the Jewish people, and it would say that the more he'd go towards Pharaoh, God would harden. He would ask Pharaoh, like, let my people go. But Pharaoh, it would note in the Bible that God would specifically make harden Pharaoh's heart. So there's sometimes when God hardens somebody's heart, or when he softens somebody's heart towards you, where depending on what he does, it will cause them to either turn their affections towards you, or repel, or go against you. Now, one thing you should know is that if somebody is not the one, their hearts will be hardened against you. One thing, and before, I didn't really know this before, but God is not an author of confusion. As I begin to do more research into this, if you're somebody and you're thinking about a specific person, but there's confusion there always. It's always confusion. And it's always like you don't know where you stand. You don't know where things are. Then I would say that's not something that's, even if you weren't a Christian, that's not something you would want, even if you were not a Christian. And it's also something that you don't want to lean towards. You don't want to be in a situation where you're always just confused all the time. You don't know where you stand. You don't know what's going on in the situation. You don't want a situation like that at all. And how would I describe this? It would be like, I guess it would be like Taylor Swift and Harry Styles, or not because of any abusive towards any of the people, because there was no abuse there, but you definitely don't want to have somebody that's always ambiguous. So something like, oh, it's up in the air. That's not something that you want. With Christian dating, the intention is that you never pay attention to somebody unless you have the intention of getting together with them for the purpose of later being married to them. That's the sole reason why you would ever like get a boyfriend, if you're if you're looking towards that direction, or if you're a guy, you'd look for a girl. It's never to play around and be like, oh, I just want to test the waters. We don't do that in Christianity, and I did not know that before. So it would never be, oh, just test the waters, let's see where it goes, let's keep playing around. It's not like that. it's definitely like not like that in Christian dating. Okay, so then the next thing, okay, so I just spoke to you guys about it not being, God not being the author of confusion. Okay, so if he, like a particular person, the one for you, a lot of people, they don't even want to ask God, you know, who is the right person for me. And I actually get this, because they feel like God is not going to give them the person that they like, the person that they're attracted to, or they're going to give them somebody that they just don't want. And they just, I guess they don't really put the faith that maybe God could give them somebody that they could really care about, that they could be crazy about. But I see a lot of times that it could be also that they already have one particular person in mind, and due to this, they do something called witchcraft, where they're praying so that that person would turn towards them, even though the person isn't particularly the one that's ordained for them. Okay, so the concept of the one, to further segue into this, is a lot of times I'll see people are like, oh, I messed the situation up, I messed the situation up, I messed everything up, I said something I shouldn't have said, I did something I shouldn't have done. But I've come over time to see this principle that, like, especially when it comes towards women, if you do something wrong, especially when you do something like that's not good towards the relationship, the likelihood of the person ever like being like, well, I give up, is highly unlikely. Like the person that's the one, you could have like 10,000 mess ups, and for some reason they would find that endearing. You could have something like something that's very different about you, like a quirky thing or something that makes you eccentric, where other people are like, oh my god, that person, why do they act so stupid and silly and weird? But to them, it would be something that they would find it more endearing. They'd find it endearing that you act this way. Like, I know certain times if I really like someone, where I give them a pass to do certain things, I would definitely not give other people the same pass. I guess it has to do with the thing that love sees all things, it hopes in all things. And basically, if you guys want to find out the true meaning of love at its most rawest form, it's basically God's love towards us. It's also Corinthians verse 13, I believe. Let me look that up for you just to make sure. So it'll be 1 Corinthians verse 13. So read that up whenever you want to find out about love. And it's a verse that they use at marriages all the time, where they tell you that love is patient, is kind, it doesn't do things against, it doesn't do a thing, it's not seeking like selfish gain, it's always patient, it's always long suffering. If you ever want to find out what true love is, it's that. It's not something like where you're always like you're in pain. Well, it's not something where you're always suffering abusiveness or pain. It's something where each person sacrifices, like they talk to each other, they consult with each other, they are communicating with each other, and they make mistakes all the time, but they're there for each other. They're there. Now, I know I beat you guys with the Chicago PD, but it would definitely be the relationship in the beginning towards Aaron Lindsay and Jay Halstead, how they're just willing to work through things. And the main thing you will know about a good relationship of the one is that he's there. The communication is there. The feelings are there. Like, basically, if there's any doubt about the one, especially if you have made your feelings known and you feel like it's up in the air, and you feel like hairstyles and Taylor Swift, how she'll describe hairstyles, is like she's always feeling confused about the situation when they were together. She know where it was up or down. That's not what you would be looking for. You'd actually be looking for something where the person would be making it certain. They'd be making it certain for you. Like, there'd be no doubt in your mind, because they'd be covering the certainty of how they feel about you, just like Jay Halstead does with Aaron Lindsay. And it's like when there's a problem where if it's not the one, they'd be running away all the time. This bad situation, they'd find ways to run away. The one, they would not run away. They'd run towards you, or they'd find a way to figure out the situation. So basically, that's the concepts of how you would know the one. And trust me, you guys, I know you guys think that if you ask God for a true mate, he's gonna give you someone that you probably might not want, but try it, you know. After all, there is free will. If you don't care for this person, ask God, say, you know, let me have somebody else that I feel drawn towards, you know, that I feel is my match in every single way, and he will give that to you. So and I know a lot of women, they fear this, relinquish your control. They feel like they have it all under control. But don't think that way. Think that your Father, he wants the best for you, and that he's gonna find someone that's gonna be there for you, that's gonna cherish you just as much as you cherish the person, who's gonna respect you just as much as you respect the other person, who's gonna be your match in every way, who you're gonna really care about, and who's gonna care a lot about you. So you basically want to think of it that way, and never feel like, oh, I'm gonna be afraid, oh, he's just gonna give me a bad deal. I just know it. Don't be like that, because God always has your best interests in heart. And what else did I want to tell you guys? I also want to tell you guys that, as I said before, the one would be the one that he would always, like, where you would be confused, he would make sure there would be no confusion there. Like, there would be no instance where there would be doubt. And at first I'd always be like, oh, but if you say something stupid and the guy no longer cares for you, or if you put your foot in your mouth, then that was, I'm sorry to say, was not meant to be. The person that's for you, you could put your foot in your mouth, you could keep your foot in your mouth, and they'd still find a way to work through it. So then basically, the concept of, oh, I made this stupid thing, I did this stupid thing, I ruined everything. If it's the one, he'll find a way to make it work, or she will find the one to make it work. You guys will come together. You guys will always be led to each other. But if it's not the one, you'll see that things will just fall apart. Even if, no matter how you're trying to make things work, it would be like a square peg trying to fit into a circle, trying to fit into a square peg. It wouldn't fit. No matter how you try to make it fit, it won't fit. It can't fit, because it's not meant to be there. So if you see like there's opposition where it's like no matter what you're doing, nothing is working, that means that the person either it's not their time for them to even be around you, or it's not the one. So trust that. And often when there's a rejection in that way, it's often a good thing. It's like God's protection. So if you see that you're around, there's a person and it's never working out, that's God protection. It just means they're not bad, or you're not bad. It just means together you probably wouldn't make a good match. And lastly, a lot of times they're two good people, but together they're not good. Sometimes there'll be two people, they're not even that great, but together they build and they strengthen each other up, you know. But what I see is that there could be two really great people, they're great characters, but when they come together, it's just a bad combination. I don't know what it is. You could see this in maybe Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. Like, it's not that they're horrible people. They both try to do the best that they can. I could tell that they're not horrible people, but when they come together, it's just a horrible combination. It doesn't match up. For some reason, it just doesn't work out. So and you'll see this in real life also. Often the person will be a good person, a good girl, good guy, and it won't work out, because the chemistry or something is not supposed to fit. So one last anecdote I would say is that I remember from a client, they told me that they had this daughter, and she was seeing this guy, and then when she went across the street, she was gonna meet up with the guy. They were trying to get serious, and before she was on the street and she's walking up to the guy, and she hears God say, it's clear as me, I'm speaking to you right now, this guy is not the one. This guy is not the one for you. He's not the one that I've ordained for you. Like, as if she heard like an audible voice that said, this is not the one. So while the guy was not horrible, he probably was just a good guy, and she was a good person. They were not supposed to be aligned. So where I don't really always preach predestination, there are some things you're not supposed to, some people and some things you're not destined to do or be with, and that's a straight fact, you know. And we see this in the book of Saul, and we also see there's also free will pleasant to them, but there's certain things, if it's not predestined, you could try to do your best, it will never work out because it's not supposed to be that way. And basically you will look at it as though, oh, I can't believe this, I can't believe this, I wish this destiny would be mine, I wish I would have been with this person. But often what that's doing, unbeknownst to you, is providing you with a protection, because it was not a good thing. There's something that is there that maybe you can't see, that maybe they're a better match for somebody else, and that's what God is trying to do, or you have a greater match for you. Maybe that's it, simply. So it's not always a bad thing that you guys are not destined, or if you have a specific person in mind and you see it's not destined, it doesn't mean that they're bad or they're evil. It just means it's not meant for you. And whatever is meant to you, and I'm gonna leave you with this, is whatever is meant for you, it will not flee you. You can do whatever you could like do 1,000 things to try to mess up, but it won't be like a situation like, I said this one thing, or I called too much, or I guess I put my foot in my mouth and this person no longer wants this. It would never be like that where you'd be doing all these mistakes and it would actually gravitate the person towards you. It would never do the opposite. So that's basically my video for today. I try to be quicker with this video because I feel like I just want to be more like a gist for you guys. So that's my video for today. My name is Christine Jen. Thanks.